Hi everyone, you have reached Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Today, I had an amazing opportunity to interview people in the restaurant industry. Collectively, they have 60 years of experience in the industry. They're here today to give us a little restaurant etiquette, to talk to us about tipping, dress code, making reservations. It was just a wonderful, enlightening conversation. I think you're all are going to enjoy it. We're probably going to do another segment of it because they didn't even get it. They didn't even have a chance to get into everything that they wanted to tell us that we should know about the restaurant industry. I think you're going to enjoy it. I was enlightened. I found out some information I had no clue about, especially when it comes to tipping and just them serving us when we come into the restaurant. So guys, chat with me in the comments about this. I hope you enjoy. Like it, share it, help me grow my channel. Again, it's 60 plus years of experience in the restaurant industry. I think you're in for a treat. Talk to you soon. Bye. Before I get started, I want to introduce you to our guests here today. We have Kevin, who's a chef. We have the beautiful LaDon, who has been a bartender for over 20 years. And we have her husband, Rock, who has been a server, but he also now trains people how to be servers also in the industry. And I thought it would be a good idea for us to talk to people inside the industry because some of us sometimes we don't really know the ins and out of it. You know, some of us we like to leave and say we're not going to tip somebody because they gave us bad service. Well, they got some ideas and some things they want to tell us about tipping and some other stuff that goes on in the restaurant industry. So I said enough, I talked enough. So let's first have our chef, Kevin, introduce himself. Kevin?
My name is Kevin Wright. I've been in the business for 28 years. Um, I've done other things, back of the house, front of the house, but mostly I've been in the kitchen, trained classical French, worked in country clubs, casinos, private owned restaurants, 4-star restaurants. So I've seen it all.
Seen it all. Thank you, Kev. And we'll go to next. We'll go to LaDon. LaDon, you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, everyone. My name is LaDon. I've been in the business for about 20 years, a little over 20 years, bartending, serving, but mostly bartending, also training, and I also have worked for a nonprofit in teaching people how to move up in the ranks in the restaurant business.
Wonderful. Thank you, LaDon. And next we'll go to her husband, Rock.
Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you for having me. My name's Rock Robinson. Been in the business 34 years. I'm a server trainer. I've worked in Italian restaurants. I worked in small bistro, steakhouses. I've done also back of the house stuff. Pretty much I've done it all as well. Maitre d', etc.
Okay, wonderful. All right, guys, thank you. And thank you for coming to my platform, Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. So I want to start out by asking y'all, this is a big thing out there in the world when it comes to tipping. So I'll tap into each and every one of you when it comes to tipping. I know a lot of times when I go out in groups of friends or with family, the big thing with tipping out in this world is if the server gave bad service, then we have the right not to tip. What do y'all think about that? I'll go to Rock first.
For all of us that are in the business, when we go out and we do get bad service, they are still our comrades. So we still want to tip. But for the average diner that comes out and they feel like they didn't get the service that was provided, I still think they should tip. But just don't go back to the establishment or let management know where the lack of service happened.
So you're saying that if we get bad service, regardless of the service, we should tip?
I think it's upon the effort of the server or the bartender. sometimes it's not all their fault. Some things happen in between, whether it's delay in the kitchen, understaffed, management not being present. You know, you may run out of something, a particular liquor, and now all of a sudden drink has been delayed. It's not always the server or the bartender's fault on a lack of service.
Okay, wonderful. All right, guys, one second. I'm gonna. All right, thank you, Rock, for your take on it. I think a lot of our friends and family out there and everyone that's going to watch this, they're going to beg to differ about just giving a tip regardless of the service that you got. But we'll talk to your wife. Let's see how she feels about tipping.
Well, a couple of things. One, everyone is human. You don't know what's going on in that person's mind as they're completing their job, and that's their job. And sometimes you don't want to go to work either, and you still got to go put a smile on your face and do the best you can when there's outside circumstances that is hindering your process. Number two, love our community. Server versus servant. I'm here to serve you, not be your servant. And that is the biggest thing. When we're out dining, I'm giving you an experience for right then and there. That doesn't mean everything above juggling a dog along with it. With tipping, like I said, I'm a human being and everyone has feelings and emotions. You don't know what's going on. So I always tip. Now I do a sliding scale. We always start at 20%, regardless of where we go out. If someone's having a bad day or something, you don't know what is going on. Excellent service, of course, you're gonna tip a little bit more. But like my husband said, there are comrades. We don't know what's going on. Everyone's a human being. You could be having a bad day. We still gonna pay.
Okay, all right. So again, we got this common theme, everyone, of tip regardless. Okay.
Kind of, yeah. You know, I'm not saying tip them $1 million, but you know, their money, it's the trickle down effect. My money still pays other folks. So I'm still paying server assistants, food runners, other servers, whatever. So when you don't tip me, your trickle down effect ends up paying like almost 4 people. So we still always tip because it's just not me that's getting the money. It's my comrades also.
All right, so talk a little bit more about that because I don't think many people know that. So what you're saying is, as a server, although we think out in the world, we think we're just tipping you,
Correct.
Your tip goes to other people. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it does. So depending on which kind of restaurant you go to, a fine dining establishment, the person you tip normally tips 3 to 4 people out on that money. And it could be a bus girl, a bus boy, a bartender if you're a server. Some places they tip out baristas because they have people that baristas. A sommelier could get tipped out off of your money. And depending on what kind of a place it is, a cook can get tipped out on that money.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a trickle down effect. So when you're stiffing me, you're stiffing a lot of people. And depending on what kind of restaurant you are, and depending on where it is, I still have to pay because I still have to make sure that these individuals are taken care of.
So what are you saying? You're saying that collectively, let's just make a number up right now. If it's the end of your shift and you have made $200 in tips, that $200 doesn't all go to you.
That is correct. That is correct. On an average night, I tip out between 25 to 30% of that money to other people.
Okay. So do you get to decide how much these other people get, or is it set by your restaurant?
It's set by my restaurant based on that $200. So that $200 is automatically 20 to 25 to 30%, depending on who I'm working with that evening.
Wow.
So okay. We're still paying folks. Yeah.
We're still paying folks. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. All right.
Yeah.
So then I have heard people say that, someone took my tip. If that is the concept, how would I ever be able to take another service tip? So, now a lot of things are dealt with like the card, your credit card or your debit card or whatever the case may be. But a long time ago, everything was a lot of cash. And I was, even sometimes when I paid my bill with my debit card or my credit card, I would leave cash on the table for that server because I used to think that the server's getting this money. Let me just give this server cash versus it going in the bill and getting taxed and then they get it. I felt like I was giving it to them right away by leaving cash on the table. But if someone else came and picked up that cash, I have heard other people in the restaurant industry say people accuse people of taking their tips. So is that even possible?
Yes and no, not so much nowadays because everyone uses their card, or people are more conscientious of when they leave tip after like a credit card, they personally hand it back to you so they see that you leave them a tip.
Okay.
So there's, so it's also facial recognition. You want to let your server know that you tipped them really good. So when you come back, you get that same server and you get that same quality service. So a lot of people just don't leave money on the table anymore. They hand it and they always say, thank you. It's a two-way street.
Got you. Okay, understood. All
Yeah.
right, thank you, LaDon. Kevin, what do you think about tipping, Kevin?
Being in the business, my minimum is 18%. That's if the service sucks. Okay, and then I raise it as accordingly. So if the bill is $100, I'm gonna probably leave 40. Unless the service really sucks, then I say, here's the 20 and we got $2 back. But really, but I'm always watching because I know sometimes it's not the service fault. The food is not the service fault if they put it in wrong. When you have an open kitchen.
Wait, hold on, Kevin. If your server puts your order in wrong, it's not their fault?
No, I said it's not their fault unless they put it in wrong.
Okay, I misheard you. I'm sorry about that.
On open kitchens, I can see if the kitchen is busy. I can see who in the weeds. I can see all that stuff. So from experience, I can just see, just like a bartender. If I go to a restaurant that has more than one bar, I can see which bar is getting slammed. I'm gonna go to the bar no one's at. Because most
you're in the industry though, Kevin. That's because you're in the industry. Yeah. So try to think of it from the perspective of, I'm just going out to eat. I'm just a regular person. Why do I have to care about how busy you are? And so now I need to sympathize that you're busy and just over tip you just because?
No, it's not over tip. It's okay. If I walk into LaDon's job and there's 2 bars and LaDon is swamped, I'm a fool to go over to her and expect a drink in 2 minutes. I'm gonna go to the other bar.
What if you think she cute and you don't want to go over to the other one?
But then people do that. I didn't go because she was cute.
She's shaking it up and they want to go behind. That's where they want to get drinks.
But I didn't go because she was cute. I want to get a drink.
Well, that's true.
That's
true.
Yeah, that's true.
You, Kevin, these men go out, and even women, everybody's very visual, right? Mm-hmm. And if they see you doing your thing nicely, that's who they want. If they look over there and think that other person don't know what they doing, can't mix a drink, I don't drink. But if they see her over there doing her thing, and it look like she know what she doing, they waiting for her.
The key, wait.
Well,
that's the key. The thing is, this is a now business. Everybody sits down and they want it now.
Right.
They want their drink now. They want their food now. They want their serving now. It's a now business. Yeah. Now. The one thing, and I can tell you this, LaDon and Rock probably will co-sign with me on this. When you go to other situations like a supermarket or wherever, and people don't have the sense of urgency that we have in a restaurant business.
Oh, yes.
You see the cashier walking up, she going to open up, she's stretching all slow. When you got to be Johnny on the spot. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You go somewhere and then you waiting for the gas attendant, and they walking all slow and it's like this, really, dog? So Johnny on the spot. You know what I mean? We got to be Johnny on the spot. The one phrase we hear all the time, on the fly.
On the fly.
On the fly. I want a 14-ounce well-done filet on the fly. Oh, I don't have an on the fly button on the grill and hit, but I got to figure it out. You know what I mean? And so being in the business, if I see a bartender that's busy, if I know I want to contribute to LaDon because I know her and I'm going to the bar, then I got to have the patience to wait. Okay? If I want to see her, I will call her and pick a day she's not as busy. So I can say, okay, she's not busy on Mondays. I'm going to go up there on Monday. But on Saturday, she's going to be swamped. It's not the day to go there. So if I'm going to a bar to have a drink, and me and Rock, we going to have a drink, we're going somewhere where we're going to get the attention, If the bar is slammed, you have to understand that. You know what I mean? Do they
I
have
think, I think people can understand that, Kevin. But
people
to
care?
get back to our tipping, I think this is what the general community does not understand and doesn't get. I mean, y'all have educated us that your tip is not just for yourself, it's spread across the board for other people. Now we have that understanding. But you gotta help me and give me an understanding why, if my service was terrible, so I should think about the only reason why I should really still tip is because I got to think about the 5 other people that y'all got to pay out. But shouldn't you have been thinking about that when you was giving me bad service?
You want to jump in? You want me to jump in, Rock?
Hold on one second. Let me say this.
Okay.
The person that sat you was nice. The
Mhm.
busser that poured the water was nice.
Yeah.
That brought you the bread was nice.
Yeah.
The server was bad. They all get a piece of that tip. So one bad apple can spoil a whole bunch, but knowing that is like, okay, I've been a busser, and I've had people personally come to me and give me money because the service was bad.
Yeah.
When you are a team player, because I would conform the restaurant to like football. Football is the ultimate team sport. Okay, you can have the strongest arm if you ain't got to receive the throw it to, it don't matter. You can be the fastest runner if you ain't got nobody to block for you, it don't matter. Rock cannot do his job without me. Okay, LaDawn can't do her job without me. I can't do my job without them. Everyone has a job to do. Okay, if LaDawn is constantly messing up the orders, you see what I'm saying? Then we're gonna have a bad day. You know what I mean? So it all coincides. So if the bus is not flipped the tables fast enough, guess what? Rock is going to get triple sacked. When he gets triple sacked, he drops all 3 checks of drinks to LaDawn. So he has a 6 top, a 4 top, and a 4 top. Okay, that's what 14? 14 drinks LaDawn has to make at one time. Then he's putting an order in. That's 14 orders coming in at one time. Okay, and it's like boom, 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 and it's just so. The way the hostess seats, if they're part of the tip share, the busser, the way they bust the tables, everything all coincides. The food runner, all that coincides. Okay? The last line of defense in the kitchen is the food runner. They would say, oh, you know what? This is supposed to be no butter. You know what I mean? This is supposed to, we all work in concession that way. If Rock has an issue and somebody says, oh, you know what? Add truffle butter to my steak, and Rock's busy. Rock can tell the food runner comes to me and says, hey, table 224, position 3, add truffle butter. Okay, cool, boom.
Hey, Cheryl, I just want to.
Okay,
That's
let's let the server jump in. Yes, I'm listening.
That's right. So everyone's pinch of salt isn't the same. Kevin's pinch of salt is different from another cook. So I think we need to define poor service. What exactly is poor service? I think everyone's level of what poor service is varies.
It does.
It does.
If someone is saying, well, you know what, my server didn't get my drink fast enough, therefore I'm not going to tip. That's not a legitimate excuse not to leave a gratuity.
So look, let me, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
The place that I like to liken to where people have patience and don't have patience is Starbucks. All right, Starbucks is very, very busy. And somehow everybody early in the morning gets up cranky, all crank, will go in Starbucks and they'll wait for a coffee. But when it comes to us, they have no patience. And it's the middle of the day where you've already had your coffee, you've already done anything. Now you're decompressing and now you don't have no patience. Early in the morning, you're up, you're angry, you're waiting. Now, liken it to Starbucks. You're waiting at Starbucks. And then we also like to say is the way that you order also interacts your service. When you don't complete tasks, it's like going 1 through 3. Sometimes when you order, people order, they'll do 1, 5, 4, 3, 2. So like in the Starbucks, we're all waiting at Starbucks, we're all waiting for a coffee. Someone gets their coffee, they taste it, they go back. Oh, you didn't put any cinnamon in it, or you didn't put any sugar in it. They didn't tell the person when they were ringing it in to put it on there. Now the person, because they've already had it stops production, just like Kevin said. Now there's 15 people waiting patiently. Now everything stops because this one person did not complete their task on their end of telling the barista what they wanted. The barista, a very nice person because it's service oriented, stops what she's doing to correct the order. Now that delays 15 other people that correctly ordered, correctly did everything else correctly. Now they're waiting. So that's sometimes the issues in restaurants too. When you got a table and people are just, you're in a good mood and you're not really paying attention, but then it becomes our fault because you're not paying attention. I've had a couple of times where people tell me that they didn't order something or they ordered something and their guests at the table correct them. No, you didn't. But now it's my fault. And now my gratuity is now indicative because of you not paying attention.
I've been at a table where that has happened. I've been at a table where that has happened, where someone thought they ordered one thing and ordered something else. Okay.
I do want to add in this one last thing before you go into your next subject.
Yeah.
Is that also having good service is also a responsibility of being a good guest. If you're a good guest and you're really, really patient, if stuff is going on and just being hospitable and nice, your night will go a whole lot better.
Okay. All right, people, y'all heard that? They said be a good guest.
No doubt.
Please and thank you.
Right.
Please and thank you. Good
goes
vibes.
a long way.
Good vibes go a long way.
I like
We're gonna play that song Happy.
Yeah.
Ooh, but we got a tip here, people. They said be a good guest. All right.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. So we're gonna go about when you order drinks from the bar. I'm not a drinker, but I have a lot of friends that say, please make it strong. They feel that, bartenders are being skimpy with the actual alcohol that they put in the drink. So y'all talk to me about when we go out and we order drinks from the bar.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's start. Let me just start really quick. Thanks to COVID, everyone now has a master's degree in bartending. And now everyone that's been home for the last almost year is telling a lady that's been doing it for 20 years how to make their drinks. And I'm just staring and I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, this is what happens when you ran out of juice at home and now you put this in there and now you made some concoction and now you're trying to pay for it at a restaurant. So really quick, drinks are just like recipes or anything else. You start messing with the recipe, you're changing the function of the drink and it won't taste the same. When you start messing with how much liquor is stronger in there, it's not our fault. Everything is measured and counted for a reason, for purposes of collecting payment and to make revenue. So it's not that I'm being stingy or cheap or anything. When it calls for recipe in my job, that's what they're telling me to use to make the drink perfectly. So A, it doesn't get sent back. B, I don't lose any money off it. Or B, the restaurant is losing money on it. It's the drink being stronger also too, it really doesn't really help anything. It's a time release thing with your body. Each person handles liquor differently. And another thing with making things stronger, I don't know your tolerance. You're walking into a bar, you say you're not a drinker. And prime example, I have a friend, she always goes, she drinking. She's a diabetic. And I look at her, I said, please don't drink what I drink. Because number one, you're gonna fall on your butt because you don't drink as much as I do. Right. And you need to be conscientious of what you're drinking. Just don't say, I'm gonna order what she's having just to make life easier. You need to pay attention. I've had many, many people just go, I'll have what he's having, not knowing he's having, and then turn around, they're running to the bathroom throwing up from alcohol poisoning. So it's not, we're trying to be stingy. It's a whole bunch of other things that are involved with it. Also too, alcohol is a controlled substance. And when I'm giving it to you, I have to be aware of the laws and regulations because I can lose my job and I can also go to jail. So when certain things are happening, we have to be aware of all situations that are going on. That's why I always say, cut people off and people get so upset and, but I don't want to lose my job or I don't want to have someone leaving and hurting somebody.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So that's a good thing to add to this conversation, that drinks are like you follow a recipe.
That is
So
correct.
it's not like you just pour however much liquor or alcohol in it that you want.
Nope.
You have a recipe that you follow based upon the drinks that's on the menu, and that's what you go by. Are people allowed to go off the menu and just
Yes.
tell you, oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind people going off the menu and telling me something that they want or something how they want it done. I'm not real angry about that. I'm not real angry about it. What I'm angry about is when you tell me and then you get mad because it doesn't taste like you want to taste it. Of course, it's not going to taste like you want to taste it because you was at home making it with like kid juice. So we're in a real bar. We're using real juice. You know, you can't use a Capri Sun to make you a Bay Breeze. You can't do that.
Let the kids drink because
With
you
the
know
kids
school
drink.
closed and you
Yeah.
COVID-19. Now you gonna use the Capri Sun?
Using a
What's
Capri
that
Sun.
other one? The
Yeah.
other nasty drink, Tang. They took the Tang and made a screwdriver with Tang.
Yes. This lady asked me
Oh,
to make
Sunny
her,
Delight. That's what it is. Sunny Delight.
the lady asked me last week to make her a margarita if we had real lemonade because that's what she's been real lemonade, simple real lemonade because that's what she's been making it at home with. I said, ma'am. We don't carry simple. We have real like lemon juice and lime juice and sour mix. We make everything fresh. So what do you mean you don't got no lemonade? I'm like, because we don't have lemonade.
Oh gosh. Have you ever had to cut someone off at the bar and say, like, I can't serve you another drink? That's it.
We've cut off. So both me and my husband have worked at pretty prominent places to where we've had pretty prominent dignitaries to where we've had to, I would say, call security or their detail to come and get them. But the biggest thing that in my earlier career, I had to cut off a father.
Wow.
And we got him in a car, we got him in a cab, we tried to send him back, you know, to the church and everything. We thought we did good. 20 minutes later, he comes back out of the cab. He was like, I was in a cab and I saw you guys and I came in here. We were like, oh my Lord. Yeah, so the worst person I had to cut off is a father.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cloak and all, had his whole get up on and everything, had to cut him off.
Wow.
Cutting
Yeah.
people off is extremely sensitive.
Yes, I can imagine.
You don't want to necessarily offend your guest, but you also have to protect other guests that are around you. When people get overly intoxicated, we don't want them bothering the other guests. They're trying to have a good time. You know, sometimes they start talking a little bit louder, getting a little bit more obliterated. Their motor functions, their hand skills start getting a little off, knocking stuff over. And other guests are not trying to be around someone like that or someone falling asleep at the bar because they've had too much.
Right.
It's a delicate situation. Normally, if I have to cut somebody off, I would rather manager come down and do it. I may say something to the effect, you know, just I'll give you some water for now. I'll bring you your drink in, in a 15, 20 more minutes and then try to make sure that they don't have another one, but it's a delicate situation. It's not something you really want to do.
Right. I could imagine. All right, so wonderful. So, what about sending back drinks and food? Of course, you know there's this myth in the world that when you send back your food, bad things happen to it. So let's talk about that, sending back food.
Okay, when you send food back, if it's wrong, we need to correct it. I understand you're spending your hard-earned money, and so that's not a problem. My thing is,
Lalani, can you come
Rock-
see Jackie?
Rock is the call like a relay race. Rock is handing me the baton. He's the translator between the guest and me.
Mm-hmm.
So Rock has to figure out what they're looking for. What do they want? Then he has to relay that to me. And I have to give him what they want. If it's a steak, some people, that's why in certain restaurants they talk color and not temperature. Because some people go by what their friend said. My friend said this is a medium rare. Well, no, that's a medium. You know, and they don't know. So what are you looking for? You know what I mean? Because I'll be cooking steak all day for one person to find out what temperature they wanted. People say things like, "Oh, I wanted it spicy." Well, what's your spicy level? My spicy level might be higher than yours. I don't know. So when you send food back, I have no problem correcting the food. It's when it starts coming back and back, or the one where they sit down and let the food sit on the table. This is why I hate the outside deck. Past August, past September, they sit outside, they're talking, the food gets cold, it comes back. You know what I mean? Well, if it's something with a temperature, when you reheat it, the temperature goes up. Well, now it's not the right temperature. Well, what do you want? You know what I mean?
We want our food to be right, Kevin, and we
I
want
understand that, but if
when you have you coming with a party of, let's say 10, or let's even say 8, okay, coming with a party of 8, and y'all want to bring everybody food out at the same time. Well, that's lovely. Don't bring my food out cold.
No, I ain't talking about the food coming out cold. I'm talking about you're having a conversation at the table, and you're talking, and you're not eating.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you what goes on with the people. I'm talking about we got a party at 8, we got a party at 10. I understand maybe that's your restaurant rules that everybody plate should come out at the same time. Lovely. But guess what? Don't bring my food cold.
And I'm not going to send it out cold.
And don't,
if it goes out cold, it's my fault.
While we talking about this, Kevin, also with those French fries. Don't bring me fries that been refried in that bad oil that y'all had all day. It's not fair because I got to pay my money. And then now you want me to pay the whole tip regardless of what goes down. So give me some good fries.
And like I said, if your fries are cold, you deserve fresh fries. And you deserve. I'm not mad at the food coming back if it's wrong. That's not my problem. My thing is.
Are you going to change the oil, Kevin? Are you going to change the oil and give me some fresh fries and not fries that been in the oil with the fish and they taste like everything else that's been in that oil?
Okay, let me explain this to you. In most kitchens, you have fryers. The most you're going to see is 2 to 3 fryers, unless you're in a place like Bennigan's back in the days. They had 4 fryers because a lot of their stuff was fried.
Tap house, yard house.
Yeah, tap. Stuff is going to hit the fry. Now, a lot of times, because of shellfish allergies, you will have a fryer dedicated to shellfish.
Yes,
you said this fryer is for shellfish only. And then this fryer is for potatoes, onion rings, whatever. As you keep frying and frying and frying, and at the end of the night, it's up to the cook to keep the fryer, what we call maintained, the oil, okay? The oil should be filtered after lunch. Okay, and then when it's busy, and this depends on the chef too, because I work places that had a what they call it happy hour menu. A lot of happy hour menus are heavily fried, and because of that, chicken wings, onion rings with batter, flour, that destroys oil. Okay, so if you only have 2 fryers, you have to understand that you shouldn't have a heavy fry menu based on your fryers. Okay, so normally when you come in the morning, you should have fresh oil. Okay, even if the oil is still usable, you use it in the morning. Usually during lunch, either you're filtering it or you're changing it. Okay, and a lot of times because you have multiple fryers, you can shut one fryer down and change the oil. Okay, and so situations like you should not have to have fries that taste like Shrek. That should not happen. So in that point, yeah, you do have a legitimate point. So when you come, so if your fries don't taste right and they charge you money, send it back. If your baked potato don't taste right, if your mac and cheese or whatever doesn't taste right, I will encourage you to send it back because you're paying for it. That's your money. You know what I mean? The whole thing is that when people send stuff back and they don't know what they want. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes you just like she said with the drinks.
What do you mean they don't know what they want?
Trust me.
Get out of here, Kevin. What do you mean they don't know what they want?
Don and Rock, can y'all please help me out?
No,
can y'all please help me out?
No, sometimes they're afraid to send it back because the myth is that people do stuff to your food when you send it back. That's
hold on.
28 years, I've never done nothing or saw anything done to anyone's food from starting at Bennigan's all the way to where I'm at now. I've never, casinos, wherever, I've never seen nobody do anything to somebody's food.
Well,
I
that's
need
good
your
to
friend.
know.
That's Cheryl, that's not gonna
Yes.
happen.
Okay.
That's not gonna happen.
All
Go
right.
I need
go
you to
to a
come
place-
back.
Wait,
I gotta pay
Kevin.
rent.
Wait,
Place you
Kevin.
trust.
Kevin, wait 1 minute. Go ahead, Rob.
That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. If another employee sees you do something to someone else's food, there'll be a fight on the line. It's just not gonna happen on an ethical standpoint. That will never happen.
Well, the people are glad to know that because that is a big myth out there in the restaurant industry. It's like people will tell you to this day, do not send your food back because something's going to happen to it.
That's not true.
And I'm glad to know that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Lamont.
that's not true. And I have never seen it happen. Like I said, we are very conscientious what it is, because also too, you got to think about that. Most of us, we dine out a lot. We dine out a lot before this. It was like part of our budget is dining out. So we don't want the karma curse, as we like to say, of us doing it to somebody else and then it happening to us.
Got
So
it.
we're very conscientious of when it comes to taking and wrapping up food. I take a very long time wrapping up people's food because especially now, I change gloves, I make sure I wrap up everything safely. I wash my hands, I take the extra care just because I want someone to do it for me and do it to me, regardless of how the dinner is going. If you were not nice to me or whatever, you're still going to get the same respect that I'm going to give you just because I will want it for someone to do it to me.
I've started when she was talking about boxing up to go food for guests that they haven't finished. I've just started doing it table side. It wasn't a spec back in the day, but now I've made it a spec to make sure that you see me boxing your food at the table.
I've seen a lot of servers do that.
Yes.
And I think people are now doing that because of all of the myths that go on in the restaurant industry. And like I said, a big one was sending your food back. People will swear by you should never send your food back because stuff is going to happen to it. So I'm glad y'all cleared that up. So
let me say one thing
yes,
real quick.
of course.
With these restaurants now, with these open kitchens, those people are paying so
Yeah.
much attention to you.
Yeah.
They're watching everything you do.
Yes.
If
Everything.
you change your gloves, this is before COVID. If you change your gloves, if you scratch your behind, they watching everything you do. You know what I mean? And so I see people pull out their cameras and take pictures and put me on Instagram. So they're watching everything you do.
I do want to say also, Cheryl, that most places have now gone to an open kitchen. You very rarely will go to a restaurant without an open kitchen.
Right. I guess they're trying to help the myths that are going on out there about the things that happen, in the restaurant, in the kitchen. So to give people a comfort zone, I guess they're moving to those open kitchens. Another little myth we had, and this is also like when they used to have, I don't know if they still have it, those cups of like peanuts and stuff on the bar. For people that was on the bar, they stopped doing that. I saw on 2020, or was Dateline one time, how they talked about all the germs and everything that was in those little peanut cups or whatever. But don't want to discuss that. My discussion is the bread basket. So another myth in the industry is that, when this bread basket comes to your table, any bread that is left over, it gets recycled and goes in the basket for the next table.
No.
Never.
No. Number one rule, once off the table, you throw it away.
Okay.
Number one, touches the table, even if you didn't use anything in the bread basket, like because we have breadsticks that are wrapped, butter that has the top on it, anything that's come to your table, I automatically throw away. Even if you didn't touch it, didn't use it, anything, I automatically throw it away. Once it touches the table, trash or goes back to the person. Never.
Okay.
We do not recycle bread.
So you mean even the butters that are individually wrapped?
Yes.
If it comes in a bread basket and I bring it to you,
Right.
anything that's given to you per that table experience,
Right.
gets off the table. I don't recycle it. I don't do I throw it away. Even if it's individually wrapped little packages, I throw away. Because you could have sneezed on it, I don't know. Even though it's still wrapped up, I throw everything away. And I think most of my colleagues do the same thing.
This is before COVID-19.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, way before COVID, I've always done that too.
Never will get recycled.
Okay.
Never.
All right. That's good to know. Good to know. So let's talk reservations. When you call the restaurant ahead of time, either the day before, the day of, and you make your reservation, you got a party at 8, party at 10. I know a lot of restaurants, they do not want to sit you until your entire party is there. But unfortunately, you know how it goes sometimes. You know, you got 8 people there, 2 people are lingering behind, and you like, can you just seat us with this 8? They're on their way. How do y'all feel about that?
I agree with having your complete party there, unless we have someone with a difficulty, like a handicap or something like that, or a mom with the kids that just need to sit down, because it interrupts service. Everything is a time situation and it works in a circular motion. So when they're seating you, you're seating at a time and everything's moving in a circle, moving in a circle. That's pretty much the number one rule when you're waiting tables or a bar. They tell you just keep moving in a circle and you pick up everything as it goes. When you have 2 people that are late and there's always in process, now you're going straight through the circle and you're cutting off stuff. And people are getting left out on both sides of the pie because now you're splitting your time. When everyone's eating all at the same time, it just keeps everything moving very circular. Also, too, that party of 10, or let's say 10, you're now taking up 2 to 3 tables in someone's section, which means they can't flip it to make more money when you have 2 people that show up late. So the average guest time is between 2 hours and 2 hours and 30 minutes. They try to flip your tables because you got to generate revenue by keep flipping tables. It's called more butts in the seats makes more money.
Okay.
So when you have someone that shows up late, you're now pushing that 2 hour to 3 hours. So now this one table now just monopolized my whole evening, to where now I'm working, because most restaurants you get a 4-table station. Now I'm working with 1 table that's generating my revenue. Now let's say that 10 top completely balls out, shows off, $5,000, you make your money, but that's not a guarantee. And then you have people coming in late and you could get stiff. So it's more of being conscientious of making everything go on time also too. You want hot fries, you want all of this stuff come out perfectly. Unfortunately, your reservation time and how your party is moving helps out a lot. Now, we have been in situations where we have been a party of 12, 14 for my birthday?
Yeah.
And it was a busy place. And what happened was it had an outdoor patio. It started to rain and everyone came inside. So we were already in process, but the servers had to stop and move and do a whole bunch of stuff. And it completely slowed down the whole process. So we were all ready to go and ready to order and everything. So this is where you call the extra person comes in to help you. A manager comes over and takes our order. And this is sometimes, God bless them, but they don't completely jacked everything up. Completely jacked everything up. The server was like, what in the world? I could have did it myself. We waited 5 more minutes, but it was, everything was just going all over the place and they were trying to help. But we were on time, but because of the rain, it messed up everything else.
Understood.
Yeah. So we always say too, hold on real quick. We have a lot of friends that are West Indian. We give them a separate time of what dinner is. And they always show up on time because we give them the wrong time.
Listen, Cheryl, being on time is huge, and it's huge just not for. First of all, it's respectful for the establishment, and also respectful for your own guest. Just please be on time. If there's the reason why this we're not going to seat tables till they're complete happens is because I don't want to say a majority of the time, but I want to do preference that it is a lot of the times if it's a 10 top in about 45 minutes or so, the table's like, you know what, they're not going to come, they're not going to show up, so we're just going to order, and it might be 5 of them. You've taken away another table that we've added for your party.
Understood.
It's almost like being late for your hair appointment. If you show up 15 or 20 minutes late, now you're backing up other customers that want to come in. it's really messing up other guests' time that have also made a reservation. Nothing like you showing up for your reservation, two of you and your man, you show up and you say, I had a reservation at 8 o'clock, and it's like this. Okay, it'll be like 15 more minutes. You're like, I made a reservation at 8. Okay, 15 minutes, we'll go to the bar, we'll have a drink, we'll wait. And then it's 8:30 and it's 8:45. And then you walk over to the host desk and you're like, well, what's going on? Why isn't my reservation being honored? And a lot of the times it's because parties were late and then they started late. And when you are booking it from a reservation standpoint, just like LaDawn said, you're booking it on a 2-hour block. You're saying, okay, these people are going to come in, an hour and a half, maybe for a couple, 2 hours for 4 or more. Once you're late and you're sitting there 45 minutes, I can't start service. I can't begin until all of them. So they just wait for you all to get there. And if you all are more than 20 or 30 minutes late for all you all to be there, then your reservation is liable to be canceled and you probably won't be able to eat that night.
In that 2-hour time, though, are y'all accounting for if these guests have dessert also?
Yes.
Yeah, the average.
That's hold on real quick, LaDawn. So that all of that timing that you're talking about is where you're talking about how good is your server. From your appetizer course to your entrees to your dessert to your coffee to your after dinner drinks, all of that is timed.
Okay.
Timed by the server. So if someone says to me, why isn't our entrees out on the table yet? Well, I'm looking like you haven't finished your salad or your appetizers. We don't bring courses on top of courses. Everything is timed. We know when we're getting around that hour 30, hour 45 minute time frame, like it's about time that we need for desserts to get prepared, dessert menus dropped or dessert presentation done in an hour and 45 minutes for a 4-top. Everything is timed by the server. Everything. All orchestrated by the server.
Yeah, but sometimes y'all rush us, y'all want to bring the check and we not done.
Oh,
but
okay.
anyway,
Go to the wrong restaurants.
Hold on, Cheryl. So listen. So we may bring the check before you're ready because by restaurant etiquette, you're not supposed to ask us for the check. The check is already supposed to be presented. Okay. If you want to add something else to the check, or you're like, we're not done yet, we're like, we'll pick the check back up. But that is by corporate policy that a guest should never ever have to ask for their check. Mainly because you don't know if that person has to hurry up and leave. They're calling an Uber, or back in the day, their cab is on the way. Whatever that situation is. If a guest tells me, oh, we're going to sit here for, a few more longer than have after dinner drinks, that's one thing. But a guest is not ever allowed to ask for their check. It should already be presented onto the table once dessert and coffee hits the table. And if a manager walks by the table and sees them finishing dessert and coffee and a check is not on the table, you're going to get approached by that manager. Why isn't there a check on the table? And that's lunch or dinner. It doesn't matter.
Well, that's interesting. That is good to know. So while we're on this topic, you want to add something to that, Kevin?
When it's timing, and I'm gonna say lunch parties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lunch in a restaurant usually between 11 or 12 and 3. So if you have a party and you say I got this 20 top booked, a lot of times the rush ends about 2 o'clock. And those who have second jobs or whatever, it starts thinning out. You keep cooks, or you may bring in cooks early based on this party. So if you know you got a party of 20 at 3 o'clock, okay, and you're saying, okay, I got to cook this food by this time, it's going to be fried by this time. So I'm going to bring 1 or 2 extra cooks in. Mm-hmm. So I done sat there, I'm paying this cook $20 an hour. I done brought 2 cooks in at $40 an hour. And by the time your people get there, we're going into dinner. It's almost like 4:30, 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? And so that messes with that timing too. If a server's working a double and he's waiting on that party, she's waiting on that party, she may not ever get a break because they're dealing with that party, because they're not going to go on break because that's their money.
No, so I've seen people leave. I had service saying, I'm leaving, so-and-so's going to take over for me.
That
So
depends on the
Cheryl,
corporate, that depends on, that depends on the corporate policy of how many hours you're working a day. Depending on
Okay.
which corporation you work for, it's called a split differential. So the person that's coming in has to take over the tables because they're getting the hourly. They take it over, but they split the tip with you because
Okay.
that's part of a corporate thing of how many hours per day you're allowed to work. So it's a switch out. Some restaurants, they do it, some people don't. My restaurants, they leave it up to your discretion if you want to stay because you started a rapport, because they didn't want you to offend anybody. But most corporate restaurants, it's called a switch out, where the person that's coming in takes it over because that person needs to either take a break or they have worked the maximum hours for that day.
Understood. Okay,
Especially in
understood.
California, we're only allowed to work 6 hours at a time. You must take a break. So
Yeah.
you can't do that. Yeah. But in other places, sometimes if they're working the double and they're supposed to take a break at 3 o'clock, but the 2 o'clock party they took, or either the 1 o'clock party doesn't show up to 2:30. You know what I mean? By the time they get done in service, and now they're going into dinner service, and then you got pre-shift. You know, the specials change from lunch to dinner. They're missing all that. You know what I mean? If they have family meal, like some restaurants have, you're missing all that. So by the time you come up in there and
Yeah.
Rock comes to me and goes, well, what's the special?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't in pre-shift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whatever wine specials or whatever they got going on, he wasn't in pre-shift. He was sitting to the table. And so, you know, the restaurant has this thing, we don't turn down money. But it just inconveniences people when people to the party comes late. It inconveniences a lot. It goes all the way back to the kitchen. It go back to a dishwasher. You can say, you know what? Usually we cut the dishwasher at 2:30. The next one will come on to 3 o'clock. That half hour window is okay. But we know we got this party. You know what I mean? That's 20 plates. That's 20 plates each entree. Each course. So if you have 4 courses, that's 80 plates. That has to be washed, cups, all that stuff. So you never keep extra dishwasher on or bring money in early. So it's all cost efficient. It's all money going back and forth. So
I do want to add one. I want to add one more point too, Cheryl. So you might remember this back in the day, and I know Kevin does, where restaurants used to close between 3 and 5 to make it a good shift change.
Yep.
Yeah, a good shift change from lunch to dinner.
Yes.
You know, so you always had that 2 hour spot to clean the restaurant, get everything set up. But like Kevin just said, corporate started realizing between 3 and 5 we can make money. So we're going to stay open between those hours. Those blended hours between 3 and 5 are crucial from both points. It's crucial for the lunch sales to stay lunch sales and dinner sales to stay dinner sales for the management at the end of the night. And it's also very, very important that we try to not transfer tables to other servers, because when you transfer a guest to another guest, the experience for the guest changes.
Yes, it does.
And we really don't want that on a professional level.
But let me just say something really quick too. So when you're saying that we bring the check really quick, we bring the check when you're not ready. My thing is, I ask you if you need anything, you want anything, you go, no, I'm good. I bring the check. The big thing also too, as my husband said, if a manager sees that you're not continue to generate revenue, which means still drinking, still eating, still anything, and there's no check on the table, that is a red flag.
That's right. And it also goes back to your point of my server isn't paying attention
to me. Also too, and like since we were doing the big etiquette thing, business clientele know that we're going to bring the check once revenue stops. So they know that if they're trying to leave a meeting, let's say you're out with your coworkers, the boss took you out and the boss don't want to take y'all out, but he's going to cave. But he knows soon as we get to a certain point, we're going to pay. He's going to get that check. He can pay and leave. So it's all about also silent. It's called silent cues that we do on a daily basis to help your experience go on. Let's say you drop a fork and you turn around, the fork's there. It's a lot of silent service that we do. But on a bigger etiquette thing, a lot of my business clientele know when certain points of the meal is coming through, they know either they can escape, stay, order something, or just leave. You know, also too, it's companies that don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on stuff. you'll hear someone go, no, we don't want dessert, we don't want coffee. That's an automatic cue of bringing their check. So
Got
it's
it.
just little things that certain people know when your meal is progressing, especially with business clientele, that you gotta continue to do, regardless if it's a two-top with you and your girlfriend or two businessmen. You just gotta treat everyone constantly across the board because you don't know why they're there.
You got to be
Right.
consistent.
Yeah, you gotta be
Under-
consistent.
Understood. How do we feel about when you have a party of 10 and everybody wants their own separate check?
It's a problem. It's a big problem. You're gonna arise with some issues at some point during the service, and separating a check, collecting all of the payments, processing credit cards, and usually if it's a party of that large and it's 10 different payments, somebody's paying cash and someone wants their change back. So
Right.
all of this, separating the check takes a while, processing credit cards take a while, getting change back for the guests that paid cash take a while, you know, and organizing, handing their credit cards back to the right person. It's not acceptable just to throw all of the cards and the books in the middle of the table and say, hey, thanks you all, see you later, with one pen. You know what I mean? That's very, very unprofessional.
Right.
Also, when y'all come in with a 10 top, I don't have 10 pins. It's unprofessional to leave one pin, but I don't have 10 pins. So, you know, the whole process of separate checks is a problem. I do want to address the part that LaDawn just spoke about when it's business clientele. What a lot of people don't know, Cheryl, is that on a party of 15, 18, when it's a business, one person pays the check. It's over. It's not, hey, I need this on this, I need this on this, I need this on that. Not like that. And then if you really have a really, really advanced server who can master separating the check properly, and you bring them all out, and then you say, oh, put my girlfriend's check on mine after I have handed all of the checks out, then it becomes a game. Because now I'm looking at it as a situation like, you know, you're really pressing the issue, but I can't really show my emotion because now you're gonna be like, you got an attitude, you know, and then becomes impatient because once someone puts their credit card in the book, they're ready to go. We're ready to leave. We're ready to go to our next destination.
Yeah.
10 checks, separate checks, add this to mine. I'm gonna pay for her drinks. It can't happen. It slows down the service. And once it slows down that service, you and your man who's over there having a nice romantic dinner, my service stops on you. Now I can't get over to you. I can't wait on you. And you're like, everything was going well, and now all of a sudden you disappeared. It's like, well, I didn't really disappear. You saw me, but I just couldn't get over to you because this table over here is being a bit of a nuisance with all of these separate checks. Now, that it takes a long time. Even for an inexperienced server, it is very, very time consuming and very, very difficult. This isn't like a McDonald's where 10 people are in line and they just go up and pay them and then they get their food. It's not like that. I only have like, you know, one computer terminal. I might go there to the computer terminal with 3 of them. 2 servers are processing somebody else's stuff, and I got 8 credit cards, all the process on one computer. It doesn't work like that. I mean, those things take time.
Rock, tell them when it really hurts. When the Christmas parties, and everybody got a Christmas party, and you got that 110 top, that one separate checks, and you want to choke the heck out of them, because you got 5 servers at a computer, and all of them got to process separate checks. It is not fun.
It's not fun.
I understand that why people do it, and I'm very aware because I've been places where I'm just like, okay, this is not people that I normally eat with, and I don't want the server to get screwed. And I see why a lot of people do it. And you can see it across the board, of the tip percentage from one end to the next, and you like this, I now see why they split the check. Because they don't want it looks bad on them. But at the same time, you know, my grandmother says you can't eat with everybody, baby. Look, if you got to go someplace and you got to split a check 10 different ways just to sit outside and have a conversation, y'all need to find someplace else to go. Y'all need to find a Starbucks. Y'all need to find a tea shop. Y'all need to find a Mickey D's and have a conversation, because it doesn't become a good service when we know you have to do 10 checks. Now, also too, I don't think everyone really knows that now in certain states, we pay credit card processing fee. We pay each time you use your credit card. So that's another tip out that I have to pay. So when you use your debit card or credit card or whatever, I pay 1.5% of the tips that you leave on there each time.
Half of that.
I pay
0.75.
1.5%. I pay 1.5%.
No,
Off the tips. The total amount of each.
All right, I'll get back to that.
Yeah, when you use your credit card. So I'm paying for you to use your credit card when you're using multiple credit cards at my table. So it's the offset charge that the company has kicked back to us, and 1.5% is the lowest amount in DC that they can get away with. Other states is a little bit more. But so I got 10 different credit cards that at the end of the night, if you screw me or don't leave me a tip, I'm still paying that credit card processing fee.
Wow, that's crazy. And I do agree with you. I try not to eat with people where we got to get petty and split this bill 100 different ways. I hate it. And I hate when people want to do mathematical problems at the table and say, I had the donut for 10 cents and I had this that was 50 cents. And I'm like, yo, but did you add your tax? Since you're getting that petty, did you add your tax and your gratuity? Did you add your tip in that? Or you just
it's much easier.
Stuff is free.
If you're going to do something like we don't servers and bartenders, okay? Because sometimes you happy hour and everyone kind of gathers up at like a one of those community tables. Servers or bartenders don't have a problem with multiple payments. If you say, hey, split this, it's 8 of us, split this 8 ways.
Yes,
here's
equally.
8 credit cards. We're more likely to be like this, okay. But separate checks. Totally different issue.
No, I understand.
Totally different issue.
I understand.
And like you said, I don't like going back with that, E equal MC squared,
right.
Einstein written on the back of the receipt, someone's name with the blue credit card. And then this, and especially now, the moment you swipe someone's card, if you swipe it for the wrong amount, it automatically hits their phone. Oh, hell no. You charged me $42.50. And you're like, it's not even, this is still under processing. It's not, it hasn't hit your bank account yet. It's just an authorization. We haven't completed the authorization yet. I just charged you $16.50. That's what on your receipt. That's what you're getting charged. But now it automatically comes to their phone. I don't pay attention one time, and I've got let's say the bill is $780, and I go to swipe the card. I think I punch in the 380, swipe it, and if for some reason it pulls up for the whole amount, I can adjust that just like you adjust the closeout before tip. But once I swipe it, you automatically think I charged your card $780. And I get back to the table. Oh, hell no. I'm like, no, it's not like that. It's just the authorization. It hasn't been processed yet.
Let me just say something really, really quick that is a generational thing. So I would say, or a cultural thing, the younger culture that are technology savvy, they are more inept of using the apps of giving each other money and then having someone pay it so there's no difficulty. And I am very impressed by that. They have taken the drama out of everything. They find the one person, they all either Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, whatever to the person, and that one person gets all the money and they swipe their card. I think that is, if you're going to do that,
a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a total beautiful thing because it doesn't involve us at all. We still get one payment. Everyone has paid their bill. And I would like to say it just works out a lot smoother. And if someone is shorting someone short, they taking it up with that person. They have already explained to them what's going on. They've gotten the money. I'm running it. It's including the tip. It works out perfectly.
Well, bravo to them. That is a good idea. I do like that. That's a good thing to let everybody know that's going to watch this. Yeah, Cash App one person, and that one person just go ahead and pay the bill.
May I also add on the subject real quick, Cheryl, before you move on, just one more thing. Many times, nobody is taking advantage of other people at the table. So a lot of times what happens is I don't want to split the check equally because I don't want to pay for what she had, right? Totally understandable. If somebody's going to come out there and order Johnny Walker Blue and double, and you're like, whoa. You definitely won't pay for that yourself. But if everyone's having one cocktail, if somebody has a second one, okay. But usually everyone's meal and everything is around the same.
It
So
averages
even though,
out.
yeah, so even when I'm swiping the credit cards, ones might be $68, one's 64, one's 59, one's 72,
Yep.
but they're all around an
The same
$8,
amount.
usually an $8 range. If you split that amongst 8 people, you're talking about $2. That someone spent more, someone spent less. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. If I go out with Kevin and we all said we're gonna split we're not putting the server through that situation, right? We're gonna all split the bill evenly. And everybody's having one cocktail, and then Kevin jumps up like this. Hey, give me that Hennessy privilege neat. We're like, whoa, what you doing, bro? And if that happened more than one time when we've been out, then you X-mate him out the next time y'all go out. Kevin can't roll with us because he's sitting here ordering stuff that is way more expensive than what we're ordering.
Yeah.
Right.
Majority of the time, if someone is doing that, they will tell the waitress or the server or the bartender,
I'll pay for
hey,
my own
we're
drinks.
splitting. Or they'll just say, hey, put this add 20 or 30 more dollars onto mine, split the rest of theirs, so their bill is a lot lower than mine by $30. That happens all the time.
Those are people who get it. And
understand.
usually if you go out with people who get it, this conversation wouldn't even come up because one person is paying the bill, right?
Right.
Right.
I'm not a
That's right.
drinker. I'm not a drinker, but when I go out, it's not like I'm going out every day, right? But when I do decide to go out, I don't care if the people drink. I'm not going to be sitting there penny pitching them and saying, oh, I'm only going to pay for my meal because y'all all had drinks. If my part of the bill is $50, $60, I'm giving my $50, $60, okay? But you got to know who you're going out with, right?
That's right. That's
But
right.
I have been with people that literally we got to pass the money down the table, and me and my girlfriend, we count. Okay, well, who didn't get their $40?
Yeah.
Exactly. Been there, done that.
And you're like, well, and you thinking you're crazy. You're like, okay, 2, 4, 6, nobody's speaking up. So we have come out our pockets several occasions because when the money was passed down the table, it was short and people wasn't speaking up. But then I have been where people would literally say, I had a glass of water and a bowl of soup, and I'm giving $8 and that's it. But you partake in the community appetizers and all that. So what,
That's
pass
right.
down some more money. So
That's right.
that's where that whole thing comes in with the separate checks, because people got tired of being shorted by those who have no darn integrity and don't want to pass their right amount of money down the table.
But Cheryl, that also goes back to why people come late and why they purposely show up late. And that's why sometimes these larger parties are not used as a nice dinner, but if they're using it as like a lounge or a club where it's like this. Oh, it's my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you say you make this thing like, oh, you coming? Okay, I'm gonna make a reservation for 10, right? You're like, because they're going to show up. But they don't want to be really part of the dining necessarily experience. They just really want to come in and say happy birthday to you. So they show up all late and they just want like a drink or two. And the whole process has been, muddled up and slowed down. And then people at your table like this, why they always got to be late? I want to order. And then sometimes y'all just came. You're like this, all right, we're just going to order without them, right? And as soon as y'all order, here they come. And then y'all snapping the fingers. Hey, they just arrived. It's like, I see them. I'm at another table engaged right now. They're extremely late. And you can't say, y'all are extremely late. This is why this process happens. Or you also can't say, hey, this is the reason why we don't sit the whole party down before you're all complete because of this. So a lot of it goes back to what I said in the beginning. Just be a good guest.
Be a good guest.
Makes your service a lot better.
I like that theme. I like that theme of be a good guest. I totally like that theme of be a good guest. And it is true. And even to the people at your table. We won't get heavily into this, but I'm going to say maybe about roughly maybe 10, 15 years ago, there has been this thing started where I call it guest funded birthday parties. Okay. People tell you they having their birthday party at the restaurant. But they don't let you know ahead of time that it's a guest funded situation. If you're going to do that, that's fine. But you should tell your guests, you're coming to my birthday party, but you're paying your own meal. That would be fine. You got to let the people know, because some of these guests have picked expensive restaurants to have
right.
their birthday party at. So
Yes.
you can't tell somebody, meet me at Chris Roof House or whatever, or some expensive restaurant, and not give them a heads up that they're paying for their own meal. I think that's unfair. So I went to one of those type of situations, and it ended up being like maybe $150 per person. That's a lot of money if you're not
Yeah.
expecting to come out of your pocket with that money. So that to me was part of, and it was a lot of chaos at that particular event. But
I'm sure.
the
I've seen it.
chaos, right? The chaos came because that person should have told everybody that, look, I'm inviting you out to dinner. You come if you want to. Please look at that menu and then decide if you want to come, because you got to
Okay,
pay for your own food.
let me tackle this real quick.
Yes.
I want to say, especially on restaurants that are higher end, like you saying, are extremely expensive. Okay, anything more than 12 people, they will
Automatically put the utility.
no, not even that yet. Let's
No,
not even
okay,
get to that yet.
okay.
Let's not get to that yet.
Okay.
What they will automatically do is they're going to transfer you to the sales marketing manager, and the sales marketing manager is going to say, okay, I can do this party of 12, and I can do it at $85 a person, or $9. They have certain packages, right? And we're going to preset the menu for you, which in turn helps a person like Kevin in the kitchen out. When he has a preset menu, that makes your party go. So it's like being at a wedding. Everyone's going to pick certain things off the menu, and everybody's going to get
those. Right.
Okay.
I have called
So-
for some of those, and they told me that. Yes.
right. So when your guest does a funded party, as for you, as the person who's going to go to the party, how many people are going to be at the party? Oh, it's going to be 15, 20, 25 people. Automatically, you need to know this is going to be a preset menu. So you're not going to be able to come in there and just get whatever you want. It's going to be.
But like you said, it
preset menu.
depends on what restaurant it is.
True.
That is correct.
It depends on what restaurant it is.
That's right.
But
So if
I
you get
have been
invited,
to some that's a little pricey, and everybody's pricey is different, right?
Right.
But my thing is too, you got to know who you inviting. Like, don't play games. Don't do that. You got to know who you invite into the table. So you can't have this mixed group of these 5 people can afford whatever, but then you got people, the other 5 that they can't afford whatever, and you mixing these groups together. It's unfair, right? Because now
That is
the bill
correct.
is going to be $75 per person, and those other 5 don't really got it. Why would you do that?
well, social media is a problem because what happens is
Yes.
they'll DM their friends and be like, hey, we're at Del Frisco's, we at the Palm, we at Roost Chris, we celebrating Tanisha's birthday, come on through. And
Instagram.
then you see him, and you see him come up like this. I didn't know you was gonna be here. Oh girl, da, da, da. And then it's a problem at the end.
It's a problem.
It's a big problem. It's a big problem. Also,
Facebook
too,
Live.
Wait, LaDon, let me wait, Kevin. Go ahead, LaDon. What was you gonna say?
Also, too, all right, back to the name branding and stuff like that. I if we know how much Chanel costs, you know how much Del Frisco's is. I'm very sorry. So there should not be a question
True.
of what you're paying for when you walk into a restaurant. And even if you're the most aloof individual or anything like that, we always say white tablecloth means money. When you walk into a restaurant, you see white tablecloths, you mean you're going to spend some money. You see silverware and glassware on the table, you're going to spend some money. It's just you're walking into
But
a nice.
see, y'all know that, LaDon. Now you told me something
I know,
new. White tablecloth. See, you're teaching me something new there. Okay.
Yeah. White tablecloths, silverware on the table, stemware on the table means a little money. But in the ways of social media, of the way of people trying to floss or be out there, so you see people out there and what they're trying to do. Don't take your flossing to a level to where you're screwing somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We always used to laugh and joke back in the day that he's driving around in a $150,000 car, but sleeping on his mama's couch.
Right.
That's what happens when these folks come into these restaurants. They're flossed up, they got
True
their
that.
jewelry on, they got their hair done and stuff like that. And then you get them to a table. I will like just a glass of wine or a Patron margarita, and I'm either eating a dessert for $15 or a lobster mac and cheese for $15. So you just only came in here just to take pictures, just to say that you're here, and you're only spending 20 to 35, $40 at the most at dinner. My average PPA for dinner is $125. and you're sitting up, taking up space in my thing, and you want to sit here for 3 hours and do a photo shoot.
Yeah, the photo
Because you
shoot's a
want,
problem.
to put it on live, you want to put it on the gram,
Photo
you want to put it on
shoot's a problem.
Snapchat, you want to show everybody that you're balling out for your birthday, but you ain't show them what you're eating because they all know that's a $20 side and not no $50 steak that Kev didn't sit back 4 times to Kev. So,
Yeah.
or send back their margarita because it's not strong enough because you've been making it at home with real simple lemonade. So the bigger problem, okay? So take your flossing to a whole nother level. It's cool to do what you want to do, but not the expense of others. Everyone in the hospitality industry are hardworking individuals, regardless of what department that they are working in. They're working there to pay their, to pay their bills, to take care of their family, to do all kinds of stuff. We are a part of your entertainment and experience. We want to give you a good time, but not the expense of others. So, social media has paid a price. And back in the day, when you were talking about your warm fries, depending on where you ate at in the city here, I would say Old Town Alexandria has a lot of little bistros and stuff like that. They had to put up a sign that said, if you want to do a photo shoot of your food because you think you're a food blogger, do not send it back because it's cold.
That goes back to what Kevin was saying. All of these photos, take a picture of the food, doing all of the angles.
And this is not a
now your food cold.
And Old Town Alexandria, Virginia, it is not a gentrified neighborhood, as I would like to say. They had to put up a sign. No, they had to put up a sign in little bistros that said, we will not take your food back because you decided to take a food photo shoot because you wanted to be a food blogger.
Right.
Take pictures.
Can I throw in real quick?
Go ahead.
With the camera phones? You can't expect good service if you're on the phone. You cannot expect good service if you are on the phone. Whether you got a Bluetooth in your ear on Instagram, Snapchat, whoever Ingram, stop. Okay?
Sure. I don't know when it became vogue to be able to talk to 2 people at one time, but where I'm from, if you're on the phone, you don't interrupt the person. So if I keep coming by the table and you're on the phone, I'm not going to interrupt you. I'm not going to talk to the table till everybody is off their phone.
Oh.
So don't be like, we ain't had no service, nobody been here. I'm waiting for everyone to have everyone's attention so I can talk to everyone, not to some people, and some people on the phone are not getting a chance to hear what I have to say.
And
it's extremely rude to be on the phone and talk to me and the person on the phone at the same time. I don't understand why that's so difficult to understand.
And please leave the table if you have to talk.
Yes.
If you got to check on your babysitter, your baby daddy, or your baby mama, whatever, get up from the table.
Charger.
Get up from the table, go to a designated area, go outside, and talk on the phone. Okay.
Also, Cheryl.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've been to the table where people are really trying to flex and they got somebody on FaceTime and they looking like they washing dishes. I don't want to see your friend in their house washing dishes while I'm trying to wait on you. I really don't.
Let me tell you, I do believe the phones are a problem, and people are missing out. People are missing out on real experiences and real conversation with their guests because they're so engaged with this phone and they're so engaged about taking pictures of the food, as you're stated.
Hey,
I can agree with that. Yes.
I'm not a phone doc. Don't hand me like 2 or 3 phones and please charge them. Not a phone doc.
And Christmas time is a bad time. The Christmas parties, they want to stand by the tree and take 40 pictures, and then you walk by. Can you take a picture of us? What? Can you take a picture? I'm trying. You already know.
Also, Cheryl, it must be a generational thing because I've had parties. I would say I'm just going to use under age of 30, where you have 10 people at a table, everybody on the phone, everybody talking to each other.
Nope.
Yeah.
No one's talking to. What? Y'all can stay home.
Yeah. They can stay home.
Y'all can stay home.
Yeah. Excuse me, y'all. Y'all need to take a picture of all of us at our table. Don't do that.
But hold on. That's one thing.
I don't mind.
Hey,
you take one picture and you transfer to everybody else.
Don't do that.
I'm taking his phone and her phone and their phone.
Kevin, we have to see and make sure the picture came out good first. And
No,
then
Cheryl,
some
I
other
don't-
people may need the picture on their phone too. Yeah.
Look,
Hey,
hold on.
That's why you got the messenger. You can sip them the picture.
Hold up.
Look, here's
I
the
don't-
picture.
Yeah.
I don't mind taking a picture of the table. And I actually am really conscientious of making sure the pictures look good and stuff like that. And but don't give me grandma's phone that ain't worked since 1972 and ask me to take a picture. Then you go give me 5 more other phones because her phone ain't work. First of all, grandma can't work that phone. And you're gonna have to show her how to get that picture in the first place. And then you won't want me to take 14 million pictures. Take one more of me, baby. Grandma, you can't use that phone. Come on now.
Hey, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many jobs do I need to do just for your
Whoa.
dinner to be extremely experienced? Okay, I gotta be your nutritionist. I gotta be your bartender and deal with your alcohol. I gotta be your photographer. You know what I mean? Like, how many more jobs you want to continue to keep adding on?
Hold on, accountant.
Yeah, I gotta be your accountant when it comes down to your credit card and your split payments. Your people's credit cards decline. I gotta call the bank.
Hold on.
I mean, like,
Wait.
how many jobs do I need to do to make your experience?
Hold on, mediator, because they're now fighting over the check, and now you have to calm everybody down.
Fighting over the mediator.
Security, because they're now
Security
about
when they fight.
about the fight.
Police too.
Yeah. Security.
But
Yeah.
that is true.
Top flight security.
But I do want to say about these parties, if you ever go out, especially like towards the beach, you see a lot of restaurants with the menu posted outside.
Yes.
So you don't have to waste your time. If someone invites you to a party,
that's not a classy joint. That's not a classy joint, though.
No, but what I'm saying is, just like they can post it, when you book a party and you say I'm having that Capitol Grill or whatever, you send the link so everybody can hit the link. Because I told a friend of mine to do that who wanted to have a party at Del Frisco's. She canceled the party because everyone said it was too expensive. They saw the price of the party. Put it up there. Put the link in there and said, this is the menu. So then they can respond, oh, you know what? Nah, I ain't paying $100 for a steak.
But Kevin,
What I'm saying about that, though, Kevin, is sometimes the coordinator of the party is not clear to people.
That's what I'm talking about.
I have gotten places where people got there and then found out what the deal was when the bill came, and that's unfair, right?
Yeah,
okay, so
we
sure.
When you have in your head party, you thinking I'm coming with my gift and it's a party and I'm going to eat at this party. So, and like I said, it's a thing that to me came up about 10, 15 years ago, where I call them guest funded parties. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but you should tell your guests that ahead of time. Like, I'm not just, somebody invites me to dinner, Kevin, I'm thinking I'm invited to dinner. I'm not thinking I'm invited to dinner and I got to pay. That's not
exactly. That's where it goes back to too. Oh, by the way, Kevin, I'm glad Kevin brought that up. Hey, listen, why don't you click on the link and then see how expensive the menu is and blah 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 blah. If I invite you to dinner, I'm going to pay for the dinner.
Right.
Then it shouldn't be a 16 or 15 top in a private room and celebrating and blah blah blah. And then all 15, one person should pay.
Pay the bill.
Whoever invited all 15 people.
Yes.
Should be the one paying the bill.
100%.
And also, too, a lot of times, these places have contracts. So the contract will state what's going on.
What do you mean, Kevin?
Okay, you got a party of 20. You're booking a room. We want to make sure we getting this money and you have a good service. So this is secure your date and secure this date for us. It's a contract. It's just like if you hire a photographer.
Yeah, but Kevin, you're talking certain restaurants, right? And listen, Trust me, I have been to plenty of these parties. That's why I'm telling you. You're talking a certain restaurant. Now, some of them have clearly, they'll say, please come between, that's a large party. If you come between this time and that time, we'd be able to accommodate you better, right? Because they know their non-busy time. And with the book club, it is 10 of us. So every time I call a restaurant to make a reservation, they tell me the exact time they prefer us to be there because it's so many of us, right? When we went to a show in the city, the guy says we open at this time. If you can get there when we're opening, it's going to be best because I'm not that busy at that time. And it was a Monday, it was during the week. It was, it was a weekday. I think it was a Tuesday or something like that. And they catered to us, but they catered to us. It was a weekday and they wasn't that busy. And we got there when they opened. Do you understand? It started to
Yeah, you
get
did your
busy as
research.
we was leaving,
Right.
but they didn't require all of that stuff because the restaurant wasn't on that level. You understand?
Correct.
So it was an affordable restaurant, but still, like we knew there, and it's okay. Everybody pass your money down, and we're good to go. But I'm telling you that I have been to people said it's my birthday party. Do you want to? I
Yeah.
want to invite you. You're coming. So I'm thinking birthday party. I didn't think I need to bring $200-300 with me. Like
Yeah.
you need to tell people that ahead of time, Kevin. That's where the problem runs in. And so when I was at this particular girl's birthday party, I'm telling you, everyone didn't know because I didn't know myself. And now she's buying bottles and bottles of whatever wine, and she's buying bottles, right?
See,
And
Wow.
all of that is added to this bill. And now
Yeah.
the bill comes, and they're like, now that one they split 10, they split in half. It was 10 of us and 10 of us, and then the 10 of us, strangers to each other, but we all know her.
Wow.
You understand?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I knew one of
Been
the
there.
other 10 of me, right? And so one in a few of our 10, they was literally saying I only had something that was $10. All I said to the girl, because I will never get into it in a restaurant, I just said to myself, I will never find myself in this situation again. But all I
correct.
said to the girl that said her meal was only $10, I said to her, so you think no tax, no nothing is on your $10? You want to just pass down $10 here? Because that menu said your meal was $10. You're not gonna put no tax on it. You're not gonna take part of this tip. You're not doing none of that. I told her, I said, all right, don't just send down your $10. I paid, me and the other girl that sat next to me and her made up for 10 strangers. But the reason why I did it, Kevin, is because I'm never going to sit in nobody's restaurant and be here with a calculator and going back and forth with
Right.
people.
I
That's
ain't built
so.
that way.
So Cheryl, real quick.
For my own integrity, I wouldn't do it. But was I pissed off? Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So Cheryl,
It should have
that's in the industry because of us that dine out a lot and people who are in industry. We call that the black tax.
Oh,
We call that the black
It's
tax. It's where
the black
we
tax.
overcompensate for when something goes wrong because we don't want the stereotypical placed on our race. So it's called the black tax. Many
Okay.
times we have been black taxed heavily because we don't want that same situation to
right.
where we're looking at, all right, well, it's a whole group of black people. We knew this was going to happen and we don't want that kind of situation. So and we call that the black tax. We totally get it.
Right.
Now with us, when we dine out with folks, especially with folks that we don't normally dine out with, have a good girlfriend. And every year she did a brunch. And each year I will always ask her who's coming and how much the brunch was in the beginning. And she was like, well, I don't know who's coming, whatever. She told me the restaurant because I didn't want to get into an argument with people I didn't know. And I love this girl dearly, but I didn't know the people who was, and I'm very particular for who I eat with. She told me the restaurant. I went to the restaurant beforehand. I bought a gift card for me and her, the equivalent amount plus an extra 30%. So when the bill came, I threw down the gift card. It was already, I said, take that off the bill, whatever's left, let them go ahead and do it. And if there's
Right.
anything left, just bring it back.
Right.
Because I didn't want that same situation, but I prepared myself of where I was going and knew how much it was before I got there and make sure I had my money already taken care of.
Right.
So I'd say sometimes if you're going out with a big group and you don't know where you're going, go purchase a gift card if you can. If you can't, or just stay home. But also too, with large groups of people, you have to be very clear. So we rarely dine out with more than 4 or 5 people, 6 people at the most. But every once in a while it happens. So for large groups, we always just pick up the check. Or one year he couldn't go, he had to work. So he allowed me to take out 15 of my girlfriends and he picked up the liquor check. He told everyone in advance, pay for your own food. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Right.
Food ain't gonna be that expensive.
Right.
You pay for your own food, bring cash, but I will pick up your liquor check. Yeah, that liquor check was more than 2 times more for the food with these harpies.
It was
But
all good.
I know.
I'll tell Kevin the name of the restaurant afterwards.
Yeah, it was, but
She's in
think
New
I know
York.
what
She
it
won't,
is.
she wouldn't know what
yeah,
it is.
you already know.
I already know what it is.
Yeah, these women
Columbia
they
Heights?
went ham. They went ham when they found out he picked up that check for the liquor. These women went ham. Everybody's husband was very happy when they got home that day. So they were super happy. But we made it to a point to where you only had to worry about your food. Everything else was taken care of. But we told everybody in advance because, like you said, we don't never want to sit in no restaurant and having no argument with anybody. And
Right.
like everyone came, they knew that the food was between this price. Everyone had their money. The server got double tipped, and she was astounded that there were 15 women of different mixed and races with not one problem.
With not one problem. And
Not
that's how
one
it
problem.
should be. And that's
Yeah.
how it should be.
Yeah.
And that's I think part of what we want to get across to everybody that watch this, right? Is
Yeah.
that when you go out in the group, try your best. Let it be one tab. Let it be one
Yes.
tab.
We and look,
So-
like I said, we're not real particular and hard about a situation. Like you said, if you say evenly across the board, split it, we're gonna make
Right.
work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or if you tell us in advance, all right, I gotta have separate checks because I deal with a lot of lobbyists. They can't
Absolutely.
they have
right.
to have their own check. They
Okay.
have to have their own
Yep.
check for a whole
They
bunch of
consider
different
bribery.
reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, for a
Yep.
whole bunch of different
Yes.
reasons. They
That's right.
tell me in advance. They give me their credit card in advance, and they just let it go. So regardless of what they get at the end, they sign the check, they leave 20%, and they leave. They don't
And they
write
leave.
the check, they don't do anything. They give me everything in advance to make a smooth transition.
But
Got
it's
it.
like that can be for political offices. You cannot pick up. You cannot.
Yeah, you can't
That
pick
is-
up
that's
people's
right.
checks.
That can be
That's
considered
right.
a bribe.
Yeah, that
That's
can be
right.
considered a bribe.